In this video, we are going to be talking about dangling modifiers. That's a grammar topic for both the SAT and the ACT writing. I'm Kat Severson, inventor of the Severson method, a scientifically proven way to learn anything fast, apparently including the dangling modifiers. Dangling modifiers is an important concept that will appear on both the SAT and the ACT. You're guaranteed to see at least one question on either of the tests, and some of the ACT tests go as crazy as inserting 3 dangling modifiers in a single test. So those questions could really give you additional points, and those are so easy to figure out. So let's do that. Check out this sentence. Surging ahead of the other runners, the finish line came into view. Do you spot any illogical things in there? Surging ahead of the other runners, the finish line came into view. This sentence makes it look like the finish line was surging ahead of the other runners. This is a classical example of a dangling modifier. By the way, what's a modifier? If you're wondering, dangling modifier, what's a modifier to begin with? A modifier is a phrase. If you haven't seen our video about clauses and phrases, definitely check it out. But a phrase is something that is not a clause. And to be a clause, you have to have a subject and a verb. A modifier is a type of a phrase that does not have a subject. A subject is your main actor. Let me give you a few examples. Smiling from ear to ear. By blasting music, translated from Spanish, to eat cookies after missing an easy goal. So in a sentence, those phrases make a lot of sense. Smiling from ear to ear, comma, David showed me his SAT score. David is smiling from ear to ear. But if I said smiling from ear to ear, comma, the SAT was 1520, then it sounds like as if the SAT was smiling from ear to ear. Hope this makes sense for you guys. Let me show you some real examples from the SAT. On the verge of giving up. That is a classical modifier. Then you get to choose from 4 different answer choices. And a lot of the students, they try to do is they try to understand which one is the best one according to the meaning of the passage. Believe me, it has nothing to do with the meaning of the passage. If you have a modifier, which is a phrase that is at the beginning of a sentence, and then there's a comma, and then the answer choices are all different types of nouns that are following the comma, you're definitely looking at a dangling modifier type of a question. So here, on the verge of giving up, Giselle's story. Well, could Giselle's story be on the verge of giving up? I don't think so. An image, well, can an image be on the verge of giving up? It has to be a person. Giselle finally hit, sounds like a good answer choice. And D is the story was finally based. The story could not be on the verge of giving up. These questions are so easy to solve that I really wanted to make this video for you guys. On the verge of giving up, it's got to be a person. So that is C. I want you to pay attention to a trick the SAT is using though. Giselle's story. So they may know that you will identify that on the verge of giving up has to be a person. And then to confuse you between C and A, they're going to make you choose between Giselle and Giselle's story. So be on the lookout for those possessives, because Giselle and Giselle's story are different things. Giselle's story is not a person. It cannot be on the verge of giving up. I'll give you another example. Far from marking the end of investigative journalism. And then your answer choices are cooperation among journalists and ordinary citizens, the number of potential investigations, the advent of the digital age, and by facilitating cooperation among journalists. This one is pretty tricky, so we're going to begin solving this by eliminating the answer choices. D is not going to work because far from marking the end of investigative journalism, that is already a modifier. We can't put a comma and add another modifier. Usually that's not something the SAT would do. So D is out. C, far from marking the end of investigative journalism, the advent of the digital age has increased the number of potential investigators. Well, can an advent of a digital age mark the end of investigative journalism? I would imagine that that could be a possibility. I think so. So let's leave C as a possibility. Now, the number of potential investigators. Can the number of potential investigators be far from marking the end of investigative journalism? I don't think so. So B is out. And now A, cooperation among journalists and ordinary citizens. Cooperation among journalists and ordinary citizens has nothing to do from marking the end of investigative journalism. So A is out. The answer is C. 24. Here you get to have a longer modifier. Having become frustrated trying to solve difficult problems. Although this modifier has a lot of words, it still has no actor. So having become frustrated trying to solve difficult problems, colleagues, ideas, I, or no colleagues were nearby to share ideas. Well, A is out because no colleagues cannot be a proper actor for having become frustrated trying to solve difficult problems. I think it's I. It's definitely not ideas. Colleagues were important for sharing ideas. If you plug that in, even though colleagues is a potential subject, it is not a correct answer choice. So the answer choice is I. I missed having colleagues nearby to consult. Another example for you guys. For an untrained test taker, this will look pretty complicated, but for you guys, it should be pretty easy. So pause this video, take a moment, and get back to me. Approaching a doorway in which dangles a red envelope filled with green paper money, all of this is a modifier. It may look like something else, but it is a modifier. It is not a clause. So all we need to do is actually just to look at a couple of first words of the modifier. Approaching a doorway. Approaching a doorway has to be a person. So when we look at our answer choices, the lion's teeth, remember we actually had the first example very similar to that. We had Giselle, and then Giselle's, I don't even remember Giselle's, what was it? It was Giselle's story. Here we have a lion and lion's teeth. So if you see something like that on the SAT, if you have two answer choices, one is a possessive and another one is a noun, you should be pretty sure that it has to be a lion. So approaching a doorway, a lion snares the envelope with his teeth. Pretty good. C is out because an envelope is never approaching a doorway, and teeth of a lion are never approaching a doorway. So, yep, the answer choice is B. 39. Having come to a fuller understanding of James's work. Put a pause, try to answer this question for yourself. If you said C, you are right, because only curators can come to a full understanding of James's work. Not the museum's visitors, not it, and not how to present. This was my last example. I hope this makes sense for you guys, and I really want to cheer you on to go on to your SAT or your ACT and go get those dangling modifiers. Definitely spot them and get them all correct. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you leave a comment below this video, you get entered into a monthly draw of people who we pick from every month to get in a free tutoring session with me for a whole hour, where we can talk about dangling modifiers or anything you are looking for, get help with on the SAT and the ACT. I'll see you guys later. Bye.